Hello everyone. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Starry Night Oracle. I'm an astrologer, a tarot card reader, and a light worker. Consider me your personal guide to the stars. I'm here to help you connect with the universe, navigate destiny, peer into the future, and unlock the cosmos. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about the Venus transit through Gemini. Now for those of you that don't know too much about astrology, Venus is the goddess of love. It is about beauty, money, financial security, wealth, the things that we value and the things that we hold dear to us, the way that we love. And today, Venus, right here, is moving into the sign Gemini. Gemini, for me, is about choice. It's a sign of the twins. It's ruled by Mercury, which makes it a very intellectual sign. So here it's all of our thoughts, the way that we communicate, the way that we understand things, the way that we tell other people what's going on, or how we share our thoughts and ideas with the world. So Venus is also the divine embodiment of the feminine energy. Now we all have feminine and masculine energies within us, but in this instance it's all about the feminine energy, and in some instances I would even suggest that it is divine feminine energy. So going into Gemini, Venus is really looking at exploring and playing and being social and having different experiences, being like a social little butterfly and just like enjoying everything. Now, the same day that Venus, right here at 0 degrees, moves into Gemini, it makes this beautiful trine down to Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees. Pluto is essentially Hades in the mythology of it all. So we have the goddess of love making a trine to Hades. But Pluto is a disruptive planet. It comes in, it shakes things up, it rattles the ground beneath our feet, it digs up all of the stuff that's hiding in the dark that isn't working anymore and totally destroys it. To me, Pluto is like the great destroyer. But it happens for a reason. It's literally like breaking new ground for when you want to build something. The old thing that existed on that land needs to be demolished. It needs to be ripped out all the way down to its core, and then it needs to be rebuilt on a solid foundation. Pluto in Aquarius is very much about revolutionary change. It's very much about figuring out who we all are, the essence of who we are, each of us, and the uniqueness that exists as it speaks to Aquarius. Every Aquarius I know, and I'm one as well, is very unique. We are the black sheep of the family. We are the ones that just do and say anything. We don't really fit into any mold. Our humor is off, like just, it's not right, in all honesty. But Aquarians are very unique individuals. And so with Pluto moving into Aquarius, it's a huge collective shift with everybody, in the sense of everybody having to have themselves broken down in order to come into their own. But then at the same time, it's also a personal shift in that we learn how to be individuals within the collective. So if you notice the little squiggles here with Aquarius, those little water lines, one represents the individual, one represents the collective. So it's learning how to flow individually, embodying who you are completely, while at the same time existing within the collective. And as each of us shifts and starts to honor our feelings, honor our needs, honor our unique person that we each are, and starts to really embody that, we create these shifts within the collective because we're raising the vibration. And there's nothing more beautiful than having Venus make this beautiful aspect to Pluto in Aquarius with Venus and Gemini, because this is all about rapid transformation and change. It's a beautiful energy. And I feel like for a lot of the divine feminines out there, this is very much about letting go of and breaking down the things that no longer work so that you can leave it behind and fully embody who you are. Now, One of the other beautiful things about today, I'm just going to move this over if I can, there we go, is the sun, which is our divine spark. It's what makes us who we are. It's that life-giving, fiery energy that exists within all of us, making this beautiful conjunction to Jupiter. Both of these planets are in the sign Aries, which is very much about the expansion of the self. Now, Jupiter expands everything it touches. It's the great benefic. It brings bright blessings and gifts and hope to those who have been doing the work. So if you've been doing the work and you've been healing and you've been plodding along and you've been going within and you've been doing things to shape and shift your reality for the better, today is the day that you're going to start to really potentially feel the shifts within your reality. And then after this, it'll sort of move off of that, as you'll see later on. But today is like the day of planting those seeds. So if there's something that you want to do, if there's a project that you want to start, if there's somebody that you want to talk to, if there's whatever it is in your reality that you really want to have as a blessing, as like a beautiful thing that's going to come into your life in the future, this Sun conjunct Jupiter is a perfect day and time to do it. So we have that happening today on the exact same day that we have Venus moving into Gemini with Pluto and Aquarius making that beautiful trine. This is beautiful energy. There's a lot of good things that are to come. So we go from the 11th, which is today. Now what you're going to see is the change, because I have moved forward by a day. So Venus, you can watch her move. If we go back to the 13th, you're going to see Venus now making a square to Saturn in Pisces. Now, Saturn is all about time, karma, hard lessons. It's the restrictions and the limitations and the boundaries and everything that we need to learn that's kind of hard in this life. And when Saturn's in Pisces, it's very much about testing our faith. Do you believe, do you trust 100% that no matter what happens in your life, you are going to be okay? Do you trust, do you believe, do you know in your heart of hearts that no matter what happens, you are always divinely protected and guided? Do you know, do you trust, do you absolutely believe with everything that you are that the path that you are on is taking you exactly where you need to be, no matter what happens? So even when all of these bad things happen in our lives, quote unquote bad, but when these things happen in our lives that challenge us, because Saturn's very much about challenges, when it challenges us, does it shake our faith? Does it move us to a space of disbelief? Does it move us to a space where we don't think that anything good comes our way? Do we then start to believe all of that negative self-talk and that self-limitation that we have? I'm too old for this. I'm too young for that. I don't have enough experience. I have too much experience. He'd never like me. She'd never want to talk to me. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. All of the things. I'm too old, whatever it might be. All of the stuff that goes through our heads, those self-limiting beliefs that keep us stuck, that's all they are. It's just self-limiting beliefs. They're not the truth. They're just something that we believe in our head, but they're not the truth. So, with Venus and Gemini making this square over to Saturn in Pisces, it's very much about, are the choices that I'm making now and the actions that I'm taking and the things that I understand, are they keeping me stuck, or are they pushing me to move forward? Are they challenging me to grow? Are they things that I love to do? Are they the things that make me happy? Because Venus and Gemini is a very happy energy. It's a very playful energy. It's a very like social butterfly playing kind of energy. And then you have this hard ruler, Saturn, that's just in Pisces and challenging us to see beyond what our limited beliefs allow us to see. So we have this challenging aspects that it's going to be like on the 13th. It's going to be between like the 13th and the 15th, because anything within a 3-degree orb is still going to carry an effect. So like, as you can see, they move together. So Saturn's now at 4 degrees and Venus is now at 4 degrees. So we can see that they're moving at the same time and doing the same thing. So the same day that we have this square between Venus and Saturn, as you can see, so we have the 4 degrees here, we have the 4 degrees here. We also have the North Node in Taurus right here, and the South Node in Scorpio right here, making beautiful aspects to Saturn in Pisces. So the North Node is our destiny. It's what we need to move towards. It's the things that we need to embody in order to move toward the path that we're on for our highest good. With the North Node in Taurus, which happens to actually rule Venus, it's very much about what's truly of value to us. What do we really need? How much is enough? Taurus isn't about greed. Taurus is, what do I need to create this, being the first earth sign, to create this foundation for whatever it is that I'm building and wherever it is that I want to go. What do I need? Not what do I want, but what do I need? Because the things that I need, I can have. Excuse me. And so it's really coming down to, what do I need? And so with Saturn being in Pisces, again, those tests of faith, it's making this lovely supportive sextile between these two here. And so it's very much on the spiritual level, what do I need? I don't need to have a lot to get to where I need to go. I can create the foundations with everything that I have. I don't need to push too far. And it's helping us get really clear on what it is that we want, what it is that's going to define us as we move forward, what we need to create that stable, solid, grounded foundation. Again, Taurus is an earth sign, so it's very much earthy, grounded, stable energy. So what do I need? Not extravagance, but what do I need? Remember, Saturn is all about boundaries and limits and restrictions. So if I can only take so many things with me, if I can only build with so many tools, what do I need? At the same time, we have Saturn in Pisces making this lovely trine to the South Node in Scorpio. That is very much about the hard karmic lessons that we needed to learn about what no longer served us in our life. It's stuff that was very likely deeply hidden. It's probably to do with our psyche in some regards. And again, those self-limiting beliefs. What beliefs do I need to let go of? What secrets am I holding? That even the things about myself, what do I refuse to see because it's uncomfortable? What do I not want to recognize within myself because it's too uncomfortable and I don't like it and it makes me feel either ashamed or guilty or not good about myself? All of that needs to go. All of the toxic, self-limiting, harsh, hard ways that we are with ourselves need to go. And once we learn to let go of those, we can then move forward and create this solid foundation built on trust and faith and knowing who we are and what we want. So that for me is actually a really interesting aspect that we have to see. In the same day that we have this square, we also have these trines and these sextiles. So for some of us, it's going to be a slightly rough day, especially if we're still hanging on to all of this South Node and Scorpio type energy. But for those that are choosing to move forward and to make, the choices that are necessary within their lives, it's going to be really helpful to shift and change and hopefully change your perspective. Now, I'm going to change this and move forward a week because after the 15th, Venus doesn't really make any aspects. It just kind of floats. and moves through Gemini, with the exception of the moon, of course. But it just kind of moves through Gemini. So at the same time, when we get to the 20, oh, sorry, I'm going backwards here. I got a little distracted by my own talking. So we're going to move forward to the 25th, I believe. Yep. Because it's the 25th or 26th, depending on where you are in the world, that we see. Now, it's not going to show exact just because of the way that it's all lined up, but we see Venus at 16 degrees of Gemini making a lovely sextile over to Chiron at 17 degrees of Aries. This, for me, is a really beautiful energy. This, for me, is very much the feminine making choices from a place of having healed. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is all about where we have those deep-seated wounds where we haven't yet recognized that it's our wounding that makes us strong and allows us to help heal others. It's very much the more we have suffered, the more we can console. And in Aries, it's all about healing the self, all about healing the self, healing our insecurities, healing the ways that we feel not good enough, healing the ways that we feel like we can't do this, or we're not capable of it, or the ways in which we're afraid to put ourselves out there. This is very much Chiron and Aries. And it's also a lot of the times, because it's Aries, and Aries is the baby of the zodiac, it's very much healing childhood wounds. So for Venus and Gemini to be making this lovely sextile over to Aries, Chiron and Aries, it's very much about that feminine healing. And healing through love. And healing through making healthy choices. Healing through doing the things that make her feel good, so that as she moves forward, she's continuing to heal and continuing to find ways to thrive and grow and make choices from a place that are all based on what feels good to her. Now, at the same time, we're going to see, where is it? Saturn in Taurus right here, or sorry, the Sun in Taurus right here, making another sextile to Saturn in Pisces. So it's the Sun in Taurus making a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. Again, it's all about these lessons that we're learning so that we can fully create this solid foundation for the future that we desire. What do I need? What do I want? What makes me safe? What makes me feel secure? What makes me feel good in who I am? What do I need in order to get ahead? What do I need to build this solid, stable foundation? And how am I going to get there? It's very much about planting the seeds and shining a light on what's been planted within our realities so that we can move forward and we can grow and we can thrive. And again, it's this really beautiful energy of, this test of faith. This test of faith, because in order to build the things that we want to build, we're going to need to have faith that it can be done, that it will be done, that it's already been done, and that it's just a matter of reality catching us up to us, or us catching up to reality. Right? I mean, there's different dimensions of understanding. There's the 3D reality in which we all reside, but then there's higher consciousness levels, and there's the 4D and the 5D, all the way up to whatever D. We don't even know, because the universe is ever expanding. So it's very much about, what do I need in order to build this solid foundation so that I can have the things that I want, knowing that I am at all times divinely protected and guided, and that everything will always work out, even when it feels like it doesn't. Even when it feels like it doesn't. Everything's working out for me. Even the things that are challenging me and frustrating me, there's a lesson I can learn from them. There's a new way in which I can see things. Maybe it's just challenging me to look at my perspective in a different way. I don't know. And that's part of it, is learning those lessons. So after the 25th, we have, again, a period of time when nothing really happens. And you're going to see as I move through this chart and everything kind of shifts and changes, there's not a lot of aspects that Venus is making. It very much feels like she's just kind of out there having her fun, doing her thing, and enjoying herself, right? Now, I will say this, May 2nd, pay attention to this day, May 2nd, because that's the day, it's like the first or the second, that's the day that Pluto finally goes retrograde, and it's going to go back into Capricorn. We're not going to get too much into it in this video, just because this is about Venus and Gemini, but we're going to have Pluto retrograde back to this 27th, 28th degree of Capricorn. For a lot of people, that's going to be hard, especially if they're on their spiritual ascension journey, simply because it's sort of like going back into that 3D reality. So one of the things I have found is a lot of people that have been on the spiritual journey, been on the ascension journey, been transcending this reality, while Pluto's been in Aquarius, a lot of them have felt, for the most part, really high-spirited. There's been some challenging days, of course, we all have them, but everyone's been really sort of feeling good and like things are going the way that they want, or they're just really starting to embody themselves because they've already broken down all of the things that need to be broken down in order to fully embody who they are. But with Pluto going back into Capricorn, it's going to be pulling us back into that 3D reality because there's more that needs to be destroyed and deconstructed within the 3D reality that we live in, so that as we move forward into the future, because at some point in time, Pluto will go direct and it will go back into Aquarius. When it finally does go back into Aquarius, I believe it's 9 months of Pluto and Capricorn this year and 3 months of Pluto and Aquarius this year. And then 2024, we get, I believe, it's 3 months of Pluto and Capricorn and then 9 months of Pluto in Aquarius. And then after that, we're just going to have Pluto in Aquarius for like 20 years. So we're really talking about a revolutionary future here for everybody. But again, as it goes back into Pluto, or back into Capricorn, sorry, it's gonna deconstruct a lot of what's going on within our 3D reality. And for a lot of people, that could still be very hard. I do expect to see, excuse me, more problems with the banks, more problems with the governments, more problems with a lot of things to do with corruption, greed, manipulation, power and control, all of the things that Capricorn deals with, the corporate ladder, corporations, anything that has existed and been unfair, greedy, manipulative, vindictive, used its own power against the collective, there's a reckoning coming. And I don't think that that's something that a lot of people, like individuals, us, parts of the collective, I don't think it's so much about us. It will trickle down and affect us. But it's more or less about the things, the higher ups, and the CEOs and the government and all of that, having to answer to the things that they've done. And that can be in a lot of different ways. So just again, pay attention to May 2nd, because that's the day when it goes, May 1st, May 2nd, that's the day when it's going to go retrograde. So I'm just throwing that in there. Consider it a little nugget of information just to kind of keep in your back pocket, so that over the next 9 months, starting on like May 1st, 2nd, when the world starts to go a little crazy again, we're not going into lockdowns, but when the world starts to go a little crazy again, that you know what's going on. Again, astrology for me is a tool of being prepared, right? If I can see what's going on in the stars, in the planets, in the cosmic bodies, the celestial bodies, I can understand what's going on within our reality, so that when I take a look outside and I see that, how difficult it is, or how just bonkers bananas things seem to be, I can look at the astrology and go, oh, right, Pluto's moved back into Capricorn. Okay, more stuff needs to come down. Okay, so it's going to get a little wonky for a while. It's going to be a little hard for a while. Okay, so then knowing what I know, it's very much about me then, for myself, existing in a space of high frequency and not false positivity. That's a whole other thing. Not false positivity. It's literally every day sitting down with myself and saying, you're a divine being and you are here for a purpose and you are here to do good. And all of those self-limiting beliefs that you have, none of them are real. They're just things that you've been taught to believe, that you've been brainwashed to believe. So we're going to get rid of those. We're not going to give them any energy. And instead, we're just going to start saying things like, I am love, and I am light, and I embody light, and I embody love. And on the days when I'm struggling, being able to say for myself, to myself, you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this. You're strong and you're brave and you get through everything. And I know it's hard. And so if you need to cry, then cry. And if you need to feel things deeply, then feel things deeply, because that's okay too. And just know that whatever struggle you're having right now, however hard it is, it's not forever. It's just now. So be here now, this moment, and feel it. And allow it to move through you so it doesn't stay stuck in you and cause you to become ill or depressed or whatever. And that isn't to say that, depression and whatever isn't its own thing, because it is. I've suffered depression. Trust me, I know. But a lot of the time it's those self-limiting beliefs and the things that we believe to be true about ourselves that aren't true, that do a lot of damage and cause us to sink even deeper. And then, then it's just this really hard battle of trying to pull out of it. So just be aware of May 1st and May 2nd, Pluto going back into Capricorn, because it's gonna get hard again for a while. It's gonna get hard. So that said and done, we're looking at May, is it 3rd, 4th? Is it the 4th? Yeah, it's the 3rd or the 4th. It's kind of in and around there. Because if you notice, on the 3rd, Venus is at 25. And then if you look up here at the 4th, it goes to 27. So she's moving pretty quickly. She's catching up to Mars. They've spent a lot of time apart. That's the god of war. He embodies all the masculine. She embodies all the feminine. So she's finally catching up to him. So she's not going to meet with him, sadly, though. But she's finally catching up to him. So on the 4th, we have Venus in Gemini making a beautiful sextile over to Jupiter in Aries. So again, this is the expansion of herself. It's the expansion based on all the choices that she's making and the road that she's walking and where she's going and how she's learning and communicating and all the new chances that she's taking and the fun that she's having, really learning to embody that feel-good energy where she's just having fun. It's just going to expand herself. Right? Jupiter expands and Aries is the self. It's just going to expand herself, right? So again, we kind of jump because Venus moves so quickly. So between the 3rd and the 4th, we're also going to see a square between Venus in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces. Now, Neptune is all about illusions and delusions. It also rules the media. Neptune is... It's I don't even know how to explain it other than it's sort of like this illusory, I don't even know the word, illusionary energy. And in Pisces, it's very dreamy. Neptune in Pisces, Neptune rules Pisces, but Neptune in Pisces, you can get lost with Neptune in Pisces. There's a lot of escapism. There's a lot of not wanting to feel. There's a lot of wanting to numb out. There's a lot of wanting to get lost in daydreams. There's a lot of, sitting and kind of spacing out. You know, those moments when you're sitting somewhere and you just kind of space out and you escape reality? Neptune in Pisces is a lot of that energy. And we have this square between Venus in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces, which is very much for Venus about learning to break through the illusions and the delusions. It's learning to see what's real and what's not, but not from a place of self-limiting beliefs, as in that can't be possible, but instead from a place of what works and what doesn't as far as me and my beliefs. What is an illusion? What's reality? Because making choices going forward, I need to make these choices from a place where I feel good. I need to make these choices from a place where I am fully embodying the things that I desire, that make me happy and make me feel fulfilled. And so what is there in my life, or the choices that I'm making, where I have the illusion of happiness, but they don't actually really make me happy? There's the illusion of feeling good, but they don't really make me feel good. There's the illusion of, if I just had this, I would be happy, or I would feel good, or I would whatever. It's all about breaking through the illusions. It's kind of like when Dorothy finally saw the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, right? It's peering behind the curtain and saying, seeing through the illusion of, no, this man, this green head, for those that have seen the Wizard of Oz, this green head that I think is going to help get me home isn't. It's this, what does he say? I'm just a simple man from Nebraska. It's just this man that has these ruby slippers that, gives everybody what they want and need, right? It's not about needing this all magical being to get her where she needs to go. It's something so simple as a pair of shoes and saying there's no place like home, right? So it's very much about seeing beyond the illusions of what we think we want to know what we really want, so that we can make choices from that place of, what do I really want? What would really make me happy? What would really make me feel good? Not the illusions of things, but what would really make me feel good? And what do I really need? So after the 4th, we don't really have 4th-ish. We don't really have much, again, that Venus is going to go through. She just sort of, moves forward. And by May 7th, I believe it is. Yep, May 7th, she's in Cancer with Mars, right? And there isn't really, from what I can see, too much else happening with any of the other planets on that day. So the day that she came back, if we go back and we do, let's do a month. So the day, nope, we're not going that way. That's a little too far. So we're going to go by days now. On the day, let's see, April 11th. Oh, there we go. We had the Sun and Jupiter meeting on the day that she moved in, and she also had this magnificent trine to Pluto, right? On the day, we're going to go by, again, a month. We're going to go forward, and we're going to go back. Nope. I always do this. It's so funny. And then I get confused. So we're going to go back to the 7th. And we're going to see, on the day that she moves into Cancer, there isn't really much else happening. We have the moon in Sag. And as it moves through Sag, there's nothing that it's sitting opposite in Gemini, right? And, it's going to aspect Saturn and Neptune, but other than the moon, which is it's a big deal, but other than the moon, there's nothing happening on the day that she moves into Cancer, right? So it's just, I think we'll feel the shift, but I think that there's going to be so much else going on within our reality and within ourselves. And, I think it's still going to be a relatively peaceful time for us as we move forward. And it isn't until the 10th, right, May 10th, that we finally see her making an aspect. And again, it's a sextile to the north node and a trine to the south node. So once she gets into Cancer, it's very much about the feelings, right? She's going to be feeling the feelings. So again, it's going to be drudging up a whole bunch of stuff and then helping build that foundation again. So that's the gist of the Venus transit through Gemini. Again, the key dates that you're going to want to watch for. April 15th, that's when Venus in Gemini squares Saturn in Pisces, and it's around the same day, it's between the 13th and the 15th, that we also see the North Node in Taurus sextile Saturn in Pisces, and the South Node in Scorpio trining Saturn in Pisces. So again, it's this like building of our foundations, releasing the things that no longer serve, acknowledging all the lessons that we've learned, having faith, trusting, letting go of all of those not good feelings, the guilt, the shame, the regret, over what is or what could have been, letting it all go and learning the lessons of that so that we can move forward into our future. Then again, we get that 10-day delay where like nothing really happens for Venus in Gemini. She's just kind of having fun and doing her own thing. And then on the 25th, 26th, it's Venus in Gemini, sextile Chiron and Aries, which is, again, that, like, healing of the self and really, seeing how much she's grown, seeing how much she's healed, and really, through that healing that she's done, coming to a place of being able to really enjoy herself. And then we have, on the same day, the Sun in Taurus conjunct the North Node, sitting opposite the South Node. It's going to be around then. Which again is very much about aligning with our future, aligning with what truly works for us, aligning with that foundation that we're building for ourselves so that we can have the things that we want and desire in our lives while we let go of the things that don't work for us anymore. And we all know, on some level, we all know it doesn't work anymore. We all know. We all know where we're not happy. We all know what we're holding on to. We all know the choices that we're too afraid to make because of what it might mean if we make those choices, right? So it's letting all of that go so that we can create that solid, stable foundation and move forward. Then nothing really happens till May 4th or 5th, and that's when we see Venus in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. And again, that's about seeing through the illusions so that the choices that we make come from that space where we know what we need. And it isn't anything that's, larger than life. It's simple changes. It's little things that we need. It's nothing too outlandish or bigger than us, right? And then on May 5th, it's Venus in Gemini sextile Jupiter in Aries. And it's sort of like for all the work that she's even done moving through Gemini, for all of the choices that she's making and all of the things that she's learning and the way she's learning to communicate herself better and speaking her mind in a different way and really now sort of existing in a state of play. Well, the blessings then come when she meets with Aries, right? So on that 5th, and I do think that that's a really important day. It's going to be like, it's May, is it May 5th? Yeah, it's like May 4th, May 5th. We're going to see this, like, this is where she, oh no, it's Chiron. It's Chiron. Oh no, I was right. It is Jupiter. Silly blonde. It is Jupiter. So we see this is where she gets all her blessings. This is where she now gets to be rewarded for all of the choices she's making and all of the things that she's doing to get to where she needs to go, right? So that's the Venus through Gemini transit. The dates might be a little bit off, depending on where you live, only because I have it set to my time zone. So where you are in the world could be a little bit ahead, could be a little bit behind. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of an idea of what to expect. If you have any questions, you can send them my way. I'm not doing personal readings at this time, but I am willing to answer questions with regards to the astrology, as far as, Venus moving through Gemini or any of the other transits that are sort of going on. Astrology is one of the things that I absolutely love to talk about. So if I can help people sort of maneuver through this time with ease and grace and understanding and a preparedness for what's going on and what's to come, then I'll do that. Because we're all just here to help each other, right? We're all just walking each other home. And even although we are individuals, we're part of a collective. And the more that we can do to help each other get through this shift and this change and this great awakening, the better it will just be for everybody. Because it does cause ripples and shifts within our reality and within our universe. And let's work on them being good ones, right? Let's be good to each other. So for those of you that are looking for where else you can find me, I'm on Instagram at Starry Night Oracle. You can find me there. Other than that, I don't really do much. I just kind of keep to myself. I find it's better that way. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you for following along with me. Hopefully I didn't confuse too many of you, and hopefully this helped. Have a great night, everyone.